Hello, welcome to the Chair with James. Going to break down the National League divisions for 2021 and predictions. I already said the Yankees would come out of the American League, so let's check out the National League. The Let's start off with the East, and the Atlanta Braves won the East. Was a game away from the World Series, but blew it to the eventual champion Dodgers. I think they'll still make it back to playoffs and win the East. Uh, if I break them down, Brian Snicker, great manager. I'm totally happy that he got the job a few years back and doing very well with it. Travis Arnard is the catcher, along with William Contreras, Alex Jackson. In the infield, you got our Hansa, Ozzy Albies, Jonathan Camargo, Freddie Freeman still going, Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, and Pablo Sandoval is back with the Braves for some reason. The outfielders with Ronald Acuna Jr. He's one of the great young players in the league. Ender Inciarte is back. Marcell Ozuna they brought over. I think that'll be a great deal for them. For their pitching staff, you got Mike Soroka. He's going to come back well. Will Smith, Drew Smiley, Sean Newcomb, Charlie Morton came over. So they got a little better there. Max Reed. There in the bullpen, Ian Anderson, Grant Dayton, Luke Jackson, Nate Jones coming over earlier from the Marlins, Tyler Matzek, AJ Minter. And there's one other guy I wanted to mention, Josh Tomlin. That'd be pretty good. Chad Soboka still trying to come back as well. So I think Atlanta will definitely be the divisional winner. Now, second place is very tough. You got New York, Washington, Philadelphia that seem to improve. I want to say Miami's, wild card team last year was just a fluke, but I don't want to disrespect them in any way. So, I think they'll end up in last place, Miami. Of course, managed by Don Magley, Chad Wallach, Jorge Alfaro as catchers, Jesus Aguilar in the infield with Brian Anderson, Jazz, Chai Sloan, Garrett Cooper, Miguel Rojas. The outfield with Lewis Brinson, Corey Dickerson, Adam Duvall coming over from the Braves, Sterling Marte from the Pirates. They got Sixto Sanchez, one of their main aces there with Trevor Rogers. Yimi Garcia, Dylan Floro from the Dodgers. Ross Detweiler still going. Adam Simber. Anthony Bass, Sally Alejandra. Pretty good as well. But I think they'll still end up in last. Now, it doesn't seem to me that Washington will improve anymore, but hopefully they surprise me. Dave Martinez, of course, the manager. They have Young Gomez as their starting catcher. Alex Avila comes over, the veteran. They were able to get Josh Bell from the Pirates because the Pirates just got rid of whoever they wanted to. Brought in also Starlin Castro from the Marlins. Josh Harrison used to be the Pirates second baseman, third baseman. Happy to see him on the roster. Carter Kieboom will start in the minors. Jordy Mercer, the former Pirate as well, is there. Hernan Perez, Trey Turner, the shortstop, and Ryan Zimmerman still going at third base. In the outfield, you have Victor Robles. Kyle Schwarber came over from the Cubs, and Juan Soto. They have still a great rotation of names. You got Strasburg, Scherzer, Joe Ross, John Lester, who came over. Daniel Hudson, Will Harris will come out of the bullpen along with Brad Hand, Tyler Rainey, who's been there a while, Patrick Corbin, another great starter, Luis Avalon. So they have a great team. It's just I don't know if they have enough offense. But they have enough pitching for sure. So if they play low score games and win them, maybe they have a chance. That's why I'm not comfortable with the prediction of fourth place, but that depends on Philadelphia here. Philadelphia, managed by second year manager Joe Girardi, brought back JT Realmuto. It's good that they brought him back and Didi Gregorius as well. They still got Ross Haskins and then Sky Kingery somehow will start off the roster. Brad Miller, Juan Segura, Ronald Torres. He came over from the Yankees. Still have Bryce Harper, Andrew McCutchen, and Roman Quinn will be the other outfielder there. So that'll be interesting to see how they do that. Aaron Nola is the ace there with Philadelphia. Chase Anderson as well. Coming out of bullpen, you have Jose Alvarado, Archie Bradley, who they brought over. Zach Eflin, David Hell, Matt Moore, trying to stay in the league for sure, and Hector Neris. He had a horrible time trying to close games out, so I don't know if they trust him again. I think that's why they brought in Archie Bradley. And they lost Sean Doolittle as well. The Mets are managed by Luis Rojas, and for me, I have him in second place. They brought over James McCann from the White Sox. I think that would be a great addition. Pete Alonso, of course, at first. They got J.D. Davis, Luis Galom, Francisco Lindor from Cleveland, Jeff McNeil, Dominic Smith, Jonathan Villar. That's a pretty good infield there to play around with. For the outfield, Albert Amora coming over from the Cubs. Got championship experience there. Jose Martinez, also from that Central Division with the Cardinals. Kevin Pillar, the great fielding outfielder coming over from the Giants. You remember him, of course, with the Jays. They had Brian Nimmo as well. Michael Conforto. So that's a pretty good outfield to play with right there. Of course, the Mets are really known for their starters. They brought over Taijuan Walker, but they also got Marcus Stroman to play for the hometown Mets. You still have Jacob deGrom. Carlos Carrasco also came over from that Cleveland deal. Syndergaard will be injured, and he'll be on the 60-day list. If he does come back, it'll probably be July, I would think. They also got Joey Lucchesi from the Padres. He's a pretty good left-handed pitcher, starter. In the bullpen, you got Jacob Barnes, you got Dalen Betances, Miguel Castro, Edwin Diaz, the great closer, Juris Familia, Robert Gilsman, Aaron Loop, Seth Lugo, Trevor May. I think they have enough here to at least get a wild card spot. So that's why I have Atlanta first, the Mets second. I have Philadelphia at third, Washington fourth, and Miami in last. Sadly to say. For the NL Central, and it's worth noting the Cardinals got better. And they didn't have to give up much in order to do that. St. Louis got Nolan Arenado from the Colorado Rockies, and they were also given $50 million to pay for some of his contract. And the Cardinals didn't have to give up much farm system to the Colorado Rockies, so it was a definite steal. I clearly think St. Louis is the toast of this division and will win it pretty easily, I think. They'll be the only one probably with 90 wins. Everybody else will be under 85 for sure in that National League Central. Mike Schlitt, great manager, happy that he has a job. Same thing for Brian Snickler with the Atlanta Braves. Um, the fortunate part for the Cardinals, starting out with the 10-day injured list here, Dakota Hudson, Kwang Hun Kim, and Miles Michelonis will all be out to start the season, and also outfielder Harrison Bader. So it's a rough start for the Cardinals with those injuries, definitely there. Yadier Molina is back for his 17th season with the Cardinals. I honestly thought he would have retired, but he's ready to go. So again, with Nolan Arenado there at third, you have Matt Carpenter still, Paul DeJong, Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt at first. They just have pretty good names there. You can't deny that. The outfield is pretty young though, but they're okay with that. Dylan Carlson, Austin Dean, Tyler O'Neill, and Justin Williams will have to pick up the slack for Harrison Bader being out. The starters, you have you still have Adam Wainwright still going after all these years. Carlos Martinez, Jack Flaherty, John Gant, and Daniel Ponce de Leon. And in the bullpen, you got Jordan Hicks, who can throw 100 plus. Andrew Miller trying to revise his career. Alex Reyes, Tyler Webb. So that's a solid team. I mean, offensively, they should be great, especially in the infield. Their outfield really has to shine, and then their pitching could use just a little more help, I think, if they really need it to compete in the postseason. I think if they got a little bit more bullpen help, maybe from somewhere out there, I really think they could do it. In second place, this is tough because you have Milwaukee. It's a team in the middle where they're wanting to compete, but they don't have enough to compete. After years of competing, last decade, they did make the playoffs with the losing record. Despite that, so, but I don't see that this year, of course. I'll say the Cubs are going to be in second place. They still have enough talent to go around, but it's definitely going to be a tough year, I think, for the Cubs. I mean, maybe they'll sneak in for a wild card spot, but it feels like they're also on the cusp of, guys leaving and some guys staying and not having enough on their roster. David Ross, of course, manager there. You still have Wilson Contreras and Austin Romine backing him up. Infielders, you got Javi Baez and David Boat. Chris Bryant is on his last year with the Cubs, and it's probably uncertain that they'll bring him back, but we'll see how much money that they have left. I mean, there was talk that the Cubs are broke in a certain way and can't pay for another free agency signing with losing all the money or whatever that they did last year. But everybody lost money last year. Matt Duffy will also be in the infield with Anthony Rizzo at first base, a great first baseman, Eric Sogart, and then Nico Horner will start in the minors this year. That really shocked me because he was coming on last year, and I guess he had a bad spring. In the outfield, you got Ian Happ, Jason Hayward, Jake Marinzik, Jock Peterson coming over from the Dodgers. Marinzik, the former Astro, It's pretty good outfield there. Not pretty much maybe what they used to be, but it's formidable, no doubt. For the starters there, they brought back Jake Arrieta. Zach Davies came over for a trade for Yu Darvish. Cal Hendricks is still there. He's probably their most solid starter, I would think. Then in the bullpen, you got Brandon Workman, you got Trevor Williams as a starter as well there, but Rowan Wick, Ryan Tepera, he's a former Ranger there. Alec Mills, Craig Kimbrell trying to get his career going again. Alex Chafin, I'm sorry, Andrew Chafin, Rex Brothers. So it's some names you don't remember from the Cubs, I guess, but some new names, I guess you could say. So Milwaukee, I think, will be third. Milwaukee, they're in limbo where they're competing and not competing, and maybe Craig Counsell will be on the hot seat, but I don't think he should be. But that's one of the names that came up. They're catching Manny Pena, Omar Narvaez, and then in the infield you have a slick shortstop Orlando Arcia, Keston Herrera, Daniel Robertson, Travis Shaw's back with the Brewers. Luis Rojas from the Padre trade, Daniel Volkenbach and Colton Wong going from the Cardinals to the Brewers. So that's really awkward there. Jackie Bradley Jr. signed late with the Brewers as a free agent. Lorenzo Cain is there. Derek Fisher, remember, from the Astros. Avasil Garcia coming over from the White Sox. And of course, you got Christian Yelich out in left field. And I don't know if they'll trade him, but it wouldn't surprise me, and try to get something for him and start up a young team. But we'll see. But hopefully they don't. For their team, pitching wise, you got Brett Anderson, Corbin Burns, Josh Hader, who was in trade talks but hasn't been traded yet, Adrian Hauser, Josh Lindblom, Freddie Peralta, Brent Suter, pretty good starter there. Brandon Woodruff, Eric Yardley. But it doesn't seem like they're going to compete for a wild card. It doesn't seem like it to me. And speaking of not competing, it seems like the Reds are in that limbo, but worse. I think David Bell would be fired pretty soon as a manager. You got Tucker Bernhardt as a catcher there, and then the infield, Cal Farmer, Mike Moustakas. I could see him in a trade. Alejandro Suarez has to start hitting again. Joey Votto will be starting the season injured. In the outfield, you have Aristes Aquino, Nicholas Castellanos, Jesse Winker as the pitchers of Luis Castillo. He's a pretty good one. Jose De Leon, Sean Doolittle coming over from the Nats to be the closer. Amir Garrett in the great bullpen there. Sonny Gray, Michael Lorenzen, Wade Miley. But I don't see this team competing really well. I can see some trades happening here and there. But it just seems like a lost year for the Reds as they try to get back. Speaking of lost, the Pittsburgh Pirates sadly managed by Derek Shelton, but it's definitely not his fault if the Pirates don't compete. I believe they have the lowest payroll in MLB. It should be, or at least Baltimore, Miami would be in that conversation as well. Of course, they got rid of Trevor Williams. They got rid of Josh Bell, Starling Marte. It's just really a sad thing when you see the times that you were in contention and now you're back to square one. That's what the Pirates are doing. Jacob Stallings, the catcher there, and then Adam Fraser in the infield with Eric Gonzalez, Colin Moron, Kevin Newman, and Cole Tucker. Not on the active roster, but maybe he'll be back up soon. Gregory Polanco is the only holdover from the playoff years, pretty much. Brian Reynolds is there in the outfield, but pitching staff, you got Chris Stratton, Luis Alavito, a lot of names like Kyle Crick, Trevor Cahill, who's been bouncing around, Steven Brott, Tyler Anderson, but there's a lot of no names after that. So Pirates will probably be in last there. So I think St. Louis runs the Central, and then Chicago, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh follow. Now, for the National League West, the world champion Dodgers are there, and they didn't. They might have lost some players, but they gained back some players for sure. I still think they're the toast of the West, sadly. And this division will guarantee only be a two-team race. There might be one of those teams, Arizona, San Francisco, Colorado, who may get off to a surprise start. That might be Arizona first, but I really doubt it. I really, really doubt it. Or the Giants somehow. Or Colorado scores enough runs to start off the season, but I doubt that too. So I think the Dodgers are still the toast of the West and will probably win their ninth straight division crown, managed by Dave Roberts. His job definitely was on the line, but he won that championship. Will Smith, Austin Barnes, pretty good catchers there, clutch. And then the Dodgers in the infield, they're really, they're really stacked. You got Matt Beatty, Gavin Lux, two guys that don't even play there, but could easily fill in for guys that do. Max Muncy, Corey Seager, Justin Turner came back. That'd be interesting to see what the other infield position gets in there for, but Chris Taylor will probably take over there at second. In the outfield, you have Bellinger, Betts, the MVP, and AJ Pollock. That's darn good there. And their starting pitching, it's a lot of great names along with the Padres there. But I think they have a 6-man rotation there with Julio Urias, David Price coming back, Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, and then Trevor Bauer. I just knew that he was going to sign with the Dodgers after all that speculation. And then in the bullpen, you got Scott Alexander, Tony Golson, who will be, either the sixth starter or long relief. Gratterall, Jensen's back to being the closer there. Joe Kelly, Corey Knebel, trying to revitalize his career. Dennis Santana, Blake Trenton. So they're really stacked on the Dodgers. Down south in San Diego, Jace Tingler, the manager. And the Padres went out and did some more trades. And there's real excitement from the fans here in San Diego. Definitely going to be an exciting race between these two ball clubs, LA and San Diego. Having Austin Nola, Victor Caratini coming over from the Cubs. That's a pretty good catching core there. With Luis Capuano. In the infield, you have Jake Cronenworth. Definitely a great rookie last year. Eric Hosmer at first. Ha Sung Kim will platoon. You got Manny Machado at third, who won the Silver Slugger and Gold Glove there. Fernando Tatis Jr., the shortstop, he also won the Silver Slugger and Gold Glove. Just an amazing young player there. And he re-upped with the Padres, so uh, he'll be there his whole career in San Diego. It's amazing. And they also have Jorge Mateo, too, who will platoon there. Uh, if guys need a rest or if there's any blowouts, they can come in. In the outfield, you got Trent Grisham playing center. You got Will Myers as well. And Tommy Pham. Jerkson Profar can platoon as well. And it'd be interesting what they do with Brian O'Grady. He's had a great spring. And then Tommy Pham also in left field there. So there's a lot of names, and it's not a bad problem to have all these players. It's just a lot of them have to have their at bats, or they get cold. So we'll see how all that goes. For their rotation, Mike Clevenger will not be pitching this year. He came over from Cleveland, and that's really unfortunate. In the bullpen, Trey Winter is also out, and Jose Castillo. So three, maybe two main pieces there that will be missing. For their starters, though, have Yu Darvish, Dilson Lamet, who will come on, but later in the season. Chris Paddock, the sheriff. Blake Snell coming over from Tampa. That's a pretty good starting rotation there, I would say. And then the bullpen, you have Matt Strum, who can be a long reliever. Craig Stammen, Ryan Weathers, Drew Pomerantz, Emilio Pagan, Joe Musgrove, Adrian Morejon, Mark Melanson will probably be the closer. Kalen Clea, Pierce Johnson, Tim Hill, Javi Guerrera, Michael Baez, Dan Nativa, Austin Adams. So they're pretty deep when it comes to pitching. And their best pitching prospect hasn't even come up yet, and that's Mackenzie Gore. And maybe he'll be ready to play or pitch later in the season. That'd be interesting to see. For the Diamondbacks, who I picked third, it seems like they're in a transition. Of course, managed by Torey Lovallo, Stephen Vogt and Carson Kelly as the catchers, Nick Ahmed as Jubal Cabrera, Eduardo Escobar, Ketel Marte, Christian Walker as a pretty good infield core there. In the outfield, you got Cole Calhoun in right, Tim LaCastro, David Peralta. Pretty speedy outfield there. And then the starting pitching starts with Bumgarner, but he had a horrible 2020. His fastball wasn't locating well, and it's not as fast. He's going to have to rely on his off-speed stuff if he wants to do better, basically. Tyler Clippard coming out of the bullpen. Kevin Gintel. Caleb Smith. Hakeem Soria is a reliever, veteran. Luke Weaver came over from the Cardinals. But there's not a lot pitching-wise, but they have some offense there. In San Francisco, the Giants, managed by second-year manager Gabe Kapler, who I was shocked when he even got the job. I really was. Buster Posey's still there from the championship years, along with Joey Bart, bringing him along. Brandon Belt there with Crawford from the good years. Wilman Flores is there. Tommy La Stella coming over from the Angels. Evan Longoria still going after all these years. Darren Ruff, Donovan Solano. These are guys pretty old there, so it's pretty old. An old infield there. In the outfield, Alice Dickerson, Austin Slater, and Mike Yastrzemski. Pretty young outfield. It's interesting to think about that. Pretty old infield, pretty young outfield. And pitching-wise, They brought over Alex Wood. You still got Johnny Cueto. Got Anthony Descalfiani coming over for the Reds. Kevin Gossman, Jake McGee, Reyes Monteroa, Aaron Sanchez, Logan Webb, Max Whistler, Alex Wood. But there's a lot missing there with the Giants, sadly. Speaking of a lot missing, the Colorado Rockies have a lot missing, and Bud Black will probably be on the hot seat, I guess, there, but it's not him. And they have a young catching core. They have C.J. Cron at first, Garrett Hampson, Ryan McMahon, Chris Owings, Trevor Story, the shortstop, their main guy. It's no shock if he'll get traded by the Rockies sometime in 2021. They better get a lot for it for him. And Ian Desmond opted out for the second straight year. I just wonder if he'll play again, honestly. Charlie Backman is also still with the Rockies for now. I suspect he'll get traded sometime soon. Ramil Tapia, Sam Hillard, the other outfielders. But it might be an ugly year there for Colorado. I definitely have them in last place. For their pitching, the bright spot last year was Daniel Bard. He was the closer, and it was a great story after he was out of the game for about at least 5 years. And he came back and had a pretty good year last season, closing games out. Cal Freeland is one of the starters. Michael Givens is in the bullpen. John Gray is one of their starters. Herman Marquez is also a pretty good starter. But other from that, they are missing a lot in Colorado. So that's the NL West. I think it will be still the Dodgers, San Diego in second, and then I guess Arizona in third, San Francisco in fourth, and Colorado promptly in last place there. How I see the playoff picture in the NL. Like I said, I see Atlanta winning the East. I see St. Louis winning the Central and the Dodgers winning the West. The wild card, I see San Diego in first and the New York Mets in second. Wild card, they play each other. I suspect San Diego will win that. And then they'll probably play the Dodgers. The Dodgers will beat the Padres. Atlanta will play St. Louis. This feels like we've seen that before last year. The same. Atlanta and St. Louis will go at it. I think St. Louis will win that series. Remember, St. Louis lost to San Diego in the one of the rounds last year, but I think St. Louis, the Dodgers will come in the championship series there, just like 1985 and 2009 or whatever, whenever it was, in 2013, 2014. They have a history there facing each other. St. Louis against the Dodgers, I probably have to say LA again. And LA winning it all over the Yankees. So I think Dodgers over Yankees, sadly. Sadly, I think the Dodgers will repeat. Hopefully not. But that's what I think about the 2021 season. I want to see your predictions on both videos. Had to break it down. 2 videos for each league because they were pretty long, and wanted to give it real thought because, again, this might be the last season we have of baseball for a while, depending on the union negotiations, players' union with the owners and the league. So enjoy it while you can. If you feel like it's safe enough, go to a game. Amid the pandemic, they'll have limited attendance in the majority of the stadiums. Yeah, catch a ball. I'm gonna try to go to a game sometime, whether it be Anaheim or San Diego. I'll try, but we'll see what happens. So again, I think New York it'll be Yankees Dodgers, and Dodgers will win probably in 6 games. Sadly to say. So anyway, take care everybody, and I'll see you next time on the chair. Later.